All right, so Servants of Freedom is finally out, and what I wanted to do in this video is I wanted to give you my initial impressions after playing with everything for a couple of hours, and I'm going to give you a little bit of a showcase of what's available, and lastly, we're going to jump into a full dive so that way you can see exactly how these things operate in live combat. Anyways, let's get into it. All right, so jumping in game, so you can see that I'm wearing some of the armor right now. But here is the Warbond itself. So it's pretty self-explanatory, 3 pages like always, 300 super credits like always. We do get this armor passive now that is called integrated explosives. Armor explodes 1.5 seconds after wearer dies. In my experience, very brief experience with it, especially playing in some of the defense missions and whatnot, it team kills a lot. You're next to your teammate and they explode. You're like, what the hell killed me? And you realize that the teammate that you're next to was wearing this armor. So not loving it. It reminds me very much of the Hellpod explosive booster that people can run. The armors look amazing, so it's kind of hard for me to hate them too much. But again, it's not very conducive for team play, but essentially it is cool looking. So the LAS double-edged sickle, been able to play with this for a little bit, has light armor penetration, but don't let that deceive you. What you're gonna see when we get into the dive, this thing, it has the ricochets, like the bullets that when you see the little shield and the deflecting bullets of light armor penetration, but as it heats up, does more damage. And if I'm not misunderstanding it, it does change to medium armor penetration. Don't quote me on that, I'm still testing it, but from my initial experiences, this thing is chewing through automatons and terminid forces. It is a machine in terms of how much damage this thing does against those units. And then, of course, here's the rest of the armors, all look really, really cool and various things like that. So this GP33 Ultimatum, I'm pausing because this thing is so freaking good. Now, the arc and the explosive radius is not crazy, so you really need to get this thing very close to the target you're shooting at. But this thing says it has medium armor penetration, but just look at some of these clips of this thing on screen right now because it is absolutely ridiculous. So you can see it's able to one-shot Hulks, one-shot Bile Titans, Chargers from any angle if you direct impact with them with it. This thing is just absolutely nutty. It's very, very good, and it's been a lot of fun to use. So one side note is that Siege Ready does work for this. Initially, if you're not running it, you get 1 shot in the gun and then 1 extra slot shot. But with Siege Ready, you do get 2 bonus shots, so that does work with this weapon as well. And same thing with this weapon. You can reload this sickle if you want to, so both weapons do benefit from Siege Ready. And then lastly, this grenade, I've been able to play with it a little bit. I just unlocked it fairly recently. It seeks its targets pretty well. You can mark targets and it will go toward those targets. If it hits a Hulk or something in the vent, it will usually kill it in like 1 to 2 grenades. Against a terminid, it's really good. It's not a bad grenade. It's basically like a glorified frag grenade in my opinion, without the versatility, meaning like if you're trying to get it to go destroy a bug hole or a fabricator, for example, you target it by pressing the target button. It will go to it, but it won't destroy it very consistently. The bug holes, it does a little bit better, but again, the fabricators is not that great. And like I said, I haven't unlocked the portable hell bomb yet, but I'm gonna unlock that very soon. But anyway, that's what you get in there. This is the superstore, what you get in the superstore and whatnot. It's really self-explanatory. This reminds me of Crossbones from the Marvel movies. Is really cool, and then this armor is really cool as well. But again, the passive is, man, the passive is a team killing machine if you're not careful. Oh, and I would be remiss if I didn't mention the axe as well. This thing is really cool. I haven't had a chance to use it yet, but it is really, really cool as well. So without further ado, what we're gonna do is we're gonna dive into a full dive against the terminid so I can show this stuff off, so that way you can decide if you want to get it or not. Anyways, let's get into it. So just real quick, there is nothing in terms of options outside of sighting options for the double-edged sickle. For the ultimatum, there's nothing in terms of options there. And then, like I said, the grenade does follow you around and whatnot, but the one thing to keep in mind with the grenade is that it will blow up after like 10 seconds or something like that. It's really quick. You got to be careful because you don't want it to blow up next to you, so you want to throw it and make sure it's going toward an enemy. So that is a double-edged sword, but it is cool that it does follow you around. But let's do this over there and see. do. Killed a couple of them. So yeah, that's how it works. You throw it and it will fly over there to them and whatnot and seek out an enemy, which is pretty cool. Little stormtrooper gun going. Whoa, 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 calm down, sir. So something you need to keep in mind with this sickle as well is that it will, when it gets to that maximum overheat, it does catch you on fire and kill you, which is ridiculous, but the higher the heat, the more damage it does, and I think the penetration does increase as well, like I mentioned at the beginning. So it's pretty interesting overall how this thing works. Man, this freaking dog breath is so good. It's so freaking good against these guys, against the bugs. Got a napalm barrage going off over there. Yeah, so you just got to play this give and take thing with this gun. Is that it does take us a little bit longer to not to unheat or cool off. Unheat. So you got to keep that in mind. But it is worth it because you get up to that higher one and you can reload the clip if you absolutely want to. But one thing that's unique that I believe, if I'm understanding it right, it does actually thing over there at it.
Reloading.
Some decent damage to it. You did. One thing about this thing that's really cool is that it does cool off, like I mentioned before, instead of needing to. It does cool off at maximum instead of needing to, you know, swap out the magazine. Like freaking absolutely one-shotted that impaler. It's ridiculous. Okay, so there is a spawner for Bile Titans back there. Okay, let's go. Do not shoot me, Gatling. Shot that charger, very easy. Got a Bile Titan. Resupply. The resupplies only give you one grenade back. Even though the rocket did do a little bit of damage, you can see that it freaking, I mean, just a secondary being able to do that is just ridiculous. It's absolutely awesome in my opinion. It just flies off and does its own thing. That's real funny. It has some really large, like a large seeking radius, which is pretty nuts. So yeah, if I throw this over there, it will go seek those guys out. Really crazy how far this thing goes. Another one over there. So I might have mentioned it very briefly, but this thing does not, it does destroy objectives and it can destroy like fabricators and bug holes and things like that, but it's not consistent, which is kind of annoying. But you know, at the same time, it is pretty cool how it can go in various directions. Now, something they mentioned that you can target enemies and, you know, will go in that general direction, but it's kind of buggy. It doesn't always work. You know, but it can do that, I guess. Hit that Bile Titan, rocket Sentry. Oh crap, knocked me over. Oh. Dead. Napalm barrage over there. Close off those breaches. Dog breath is protecting me barely, but it is. Go. Right. Nice and smooth, baby. I wonder how far this thing can go. It's got a really high arc. Pretty close. Okay. Let's try and see if we can hit it from here. Crap. There we go, got him. Boom, dead. I freaking love this thing, it's so good. Could be dead yet. Get out of the way, Shriekers!
Last reload!
All these enemies real quick. Freaking Shriekers, man. I die. Boom. All right, so that's just a little tiny showcase of all these weapons in action so that we can see how they're going. I'm absolutely loving all three of these things. The grenade is kind of because of the fact that it can't destroy the objectives very consistently, but it does do a lot of damage against the enemies. The sickle is very, very good, and actually, I can tell that this thing increases in penetration as it overheats. And it's very nice, and I like the high risk, high reward, very similar to the railgun. And then, of course, the little ultimatum is just very fun overall because it can one-shot a lot of the elite enemies on direct impact, as you saw in most of the gameplay. And then as well as it can just do a lot of damage in general. And I just absolutely love how this thing is the secondary option. But anyways, guys, I'm going to have some more videos coming out throughout the day and into tomorrow showcasing more of the stuff and actually going into more detail once I have everything unlocked. And then also once I've had more time to play with them. But want to give you guys a little sample. But anyways, I'll catch you in the next video. Peace.